It's about Michael Jordan signing with Nike. And it's about the compensation. And it's about the company having to come to terms with how is it going to compensate it and what the deal created and how it changed marketing. Lorraine's a hero story. It's funny, and Viola Davis and Chris Tucker and Jason Bateman and Matt Damon and are all great. And then I think
you have to learn how to advertise, which I define as the process of making known. So how do you let other people know about the stuff you sell? And then once people engage with whatever advertisement you have to sell them. So advertising is the first skill, selling them is the second skill. And then product would be the third skill, which is the thing that you're ultimately advertising and selling. Doing the same thing consistently. So usually once people do it in the beginning, they're sporadic, they're not consistent with it. Just the act of doing the same thing every day usually gets people to 100,000 a month, which sounds crazy to probably people listening, but most people who think that's crazy also haven't done it consistently for an extended period of time.
Truth is, I want to make something people like. I want to make something that's incredibly successful for Amazon, that moves the needle, where they really recognize, holy shit, movies are incredibly meaningful and can drive, because I'm sure they've affixed some dollar number to the number of people who, every time someone clicks on a Prime movie, they tend to spend X amount, which means $234, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, spike that number for these people. Really help them see that, and combine quality with something that's smart, with something that makes you feel good, that everybody's proud of. So it's got to be broad, but not stupid. Interesting, fun, inspiring, like the best of what movies can do.
They should focus on one thing in general, rather than lots of different things that you're not sure about. Because if you're starting out, everything looks like an opportunity. So the correct answer is all of them are opportunities, but all of them won't work unless you pick one, right? And so you have to say no to all the other mistresses. So boom, you pick one. And then from there, I always say 6 figures is sell something to someone. That's it. And if you want more detail, sell something to someone. So it's one avatar, one product, one channel. So you don't have to figure out, how do I create 20 pieces of content across? It's like, just pick one channel, one media source, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, Twitter. Consistently start going on that, whether that.
What excites you and makes you feel alive, and can you connect that to your work life and do it with people you love? And the only way to do that is to take risks. So you have to combine that sort of willingness to take risks with wisdom to understand where the balance is when you maybe make a mistake.
I think it's fear, mostly. I know that's not a skill, but I think it's a character trait. And so people are afraid of not getting validated, or they're afraid of judgment that they perceive from other people that exist or don't exist in their lives. They have this second voice that criticizes everything they do that in reality isn't even there, but is constantly present. It's the negative voice. And so I think that's the thing that stops most people from doing the stuff they know they need to do. I want to make more money. Most people on some level, at a basic level, they know what to do. And my proof point of even making money, right? Most of us have had a bill that came up that was unexpected, a tax bill, a car breaks down, a health thing, whatever it is, and we find a way. And so when it's for someone else, people will use the actual resourcefulness that they have to make the money. But for whatever reason, they won't use that same resourcefulness to make it for themselves.
To every person who didn't believe in me and I'm going to work, I may not be, maybe I'm not talented, maybe I'm stupid and worthless and meaningless, but I can work harder than anybody. And I did that for a long time. And I did well. I found out, I am talented. And what I learned was I don't need to I really learned the best lesson of my life in this capacity, which is not to use external approbation as the metric for whether or not you're worth something, whether or not you're good at it, but to actually genuinely develop your own criteria. Have I met my own expectations for myself? Have I done what I set out to do? Have I failed? Because the truth is, we all know the answer to that.
In my life, when I have become desperate, right after that's when I become stupid. Well, when you get scared and you go rushing towards something out of fear, that sense of desperation, this thing, when you do that, you're getting ready to screw up. I mean, just count on it. And the other time you do that is if you're greedy. If you think okay, I got this one. I can take advantage of this. Okay. I mean, the negative sides of greed. And so if you're functioning in desperation or in this no holds barred, I'm going to just clean up on other people's pain thing, that's when you're getting ready to screw up and you're getting ready to make a major mistake.
The problem is that movies have not adapted to modern technology, for one thing. They're still making movies like they were in the 40s and 50s with slow film, heavy cameras, a lot of equipment, a lot of lights. And just practically speaking, a massive amount of money is wasted. Okay, having worked on it, I know that. So I knew I could save 15% at least off the top. I thought, well, there's a margin there. Second of all, movies don't prize the right people. You can spend more on the right person that will make you a better movie for less. I don't know if other businesses function the same way, but I can tell you that this business does.
You can do anything you set your mind to, man.
Where have you been? And I turned around and said, I'm here. No. He says, where have you been? I'm like, what do you mean? He says, I saw your ad. I said, good. My store is filled with people coming in looking for the shoe pocket.
Wow.
I said,
call me.
That's what I said. So I asked him, why didn't you call me? He says, you idiot. You don't have your address or phone number on the ad.
Oh my goodness.
And if you can control this greed in you, that I need to have more, it's almost like you're brainwashed by marketing techniques. And even though you're wealthy, you keep complaining about how much you don't have. So you have to ask yourself, when is enough? How much is enough?
Like, I was always scared of money. So like, if you look at, still today, like, I look at the bill of everything. How much is it? Like, I'm gonna ask that question, whether it matters or not. It doesn't matter where I get in my life. I don't think I'm ever gonna be free of, how much was that?
How much is the dinner? How much was
dinner? How much was the tip?
So we're almost like drowning in the sea of bills.
Right.
So instead of feeling that or overwhelmed by the bills, you can be creative and come up with the ideas that you can contribute to the world. So by doing more contribution, you get more money. So if you are more creative about serving the world, serving other people with your gifts, with who you are, you can create the flow of happy money.
Hey, mister, here's your noodles. Hey, you're welcome, mister.
No. I haven't got any money.
Huh? Then what the hell are you blocking the way for? Get out of here, idiot.
And in fact, invisible assets are super more important than visible assets, like friendship, trust, happiness, love, generosity, kindness. All the great things in life are invisible, but yet people can feel it. You know, if you bump into somebody and if he or she is so kind, you feel it. But when we look at our lives, we evaluate to zero. So even though you have not much in your bank account, if you have so many friends, and if you have so many people that you care about you're in heaven.
Yes.
But you look at your bank account, and then if it's a small number, you get depressed. So you have to look at invisible assets, and you should be happy.
You know, knowledge is finite. Stupidity is infinite. So stay stupid.
That's a great truth.
Because that's how you get knowledge.
And how long will it take for them to start to believe it, to feel it?
I think you have to look back on your relationship with money since you're 5 or 6. We wake up to the reality of the world when we're around 5, 6, 7. I used to be a volunteer at my daughter's kindergarten, and I asked one of the boys at the kindergarten, and what are you going to get for Christmas? And he said, no, Santa Claus is not coming. Why? Why is that? And he said, because my parents are poor. Who told you that? And he said, my mom.
Wow.
So, like, we are waking up to the reality when we are small. And then since then, we've had so many negative messages around money.
You know, stock market's down. Do I take my investments out? Well, only if you think it's going to stay down forever.
Right.
Because you know you're 35. You're going to be investing for 30 more years. You don't think it's going to come up in 30 more years? I mean, really, you're predicting the end of America? I mean, that's silly. But your emotions tell you lies when they're based in fear and when they're based in anger. And they tell you lies, and they tell me lies. We believe those lies in situations like this. So, I lost my job. I know, but that's happened before and probably happen again. Just get you another one.
Yeah, something like money is love. Money is my friend. Money can help me achieve my dreams. But I think money is my best friend is a good affirmation. So when you think in my head, money is love, instead of money is a scary person, I think you feel a lot less stress.
Do you? You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits. But until you start believing in yourself, you ain't gonna have a life.
Education and information changes the conversation. If you change the conversation, you can change the compensation. If you can change the compensation, you can change the realization. If I can get access to information, just something simple as investing. I was like, in order to be wealthy, you gotta own something. You cannot create wealth if you don't own nothing. And if you don't own nothing and you're a consumer and you don't teach your kids how to own nothing, then now you've let them inherit it being a consumer.
I'll bet you that the greatest artists in the world you'll never see because they're so sensitive and the rejection so difficult. They leave, they quit, they go back home, they become a farmer, they become whatever, they get married. So to be an artist today, when you see someone successful on screen, you have to realize that person is tough inside because they took 20 years of rejection. So now you see them and, oh, thank you very much. But inside, they're like, yeah, because you have to be.
Most of us, myself included, are never taught a thing about money. We're told, go to school, get a degree, get a job, and all you figure it out.
Right.
And then what happens for the majority of people is you end up broke, you end up struggling financially, and you can never figure out why.
All the people want to start a business, and usually they're a little bit younger and whatnot. And I think there's a misnomer around like education. And so a lot of them watching lots and lots of videos, they want the pump up speeches, they buy the tickets to the things. And so they just learn. And I think that they think that exposure to information is learning. And I don't think that's true, or at least it hasn't been for me.
It's definitely not true.